Hello everybody and welcome to this video where I'm going to explain the quotations from Mac's Not Hot. Hopefully you've watched the quotation revision wrap, and in this video I'm going to explain why I think those are the quotations you might want to memorize for Macbeth. So the first one is look like the innocent flower but be the serpent under it, and this comes from our first meeting with Lady Macbeth in Act 1 Scene 5, and it's a great quotation for the theme of appearances versus reality. The whole play is filled with moments where something seems to be one way but the reality is totally different, and this is a great quotation for looking at the power of Lady Macbeth. I think one of the things I love about Macbeth is that the character of Macbeth and the character of Lady Macbeth, they change throughout the play. So the quotations that I've chosen show that change. And this is an early quotation which suggests that Lady Macbeth is powerful. She has this ability to influence her husband. She's basically telling him here that he should act one way, all innocent, but should actually be sort of cunning underneath the innocence. And one of the great questions in the play is, does Lady Macbeth actually influence her husband? Do the witches actually influence Macbeth? Or is it all in Macbeth anyway, and he just uses their words and their influence as a kind of jumping off point for something that he would have done anyway? The next quotation is another one from Lady Macbeth. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. And this is from Act 2, Scene 2. It's an interesting quotation, perhaps the first sign of weakness that Lady Macbeth exhibits. Remember, she was calling on the evil spirits only a couple of scenes before, but here she is very human. She says, you know what, I would have killed King Duncan myself if he didn't look so much like my dad. And it shows a change in the character, perhaps one that is not quite as powerful as the character that was presented just a couple of scenes before. Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. There's a quotation which shows the changing character of Macbeth. When he plans to murder Banquo, Lady Macbeth comes along and wants to know what he's doing, and he won't tell her. And not only does he not tell her and reject her help, but he actually speaks to her with the phrase, dearest Chuck. He's speaking down to her. And when he rejects her help, it shows perhaps that he has changed. He's become evil himself. He doesn't need to be persuaded. And it also shows that Lady Macbeth's role is changing. She becomes powerless when he rejects her help. The famous quotation, is this a dagger which I see before me, comes from Act 2, Scene 1. And you can analyse this in a couple of different ways. You can see it as the psychological effect of the guilt-ridden Macbeth and the idea that he's hallucinating these daggers because he feels so guilty. Or perhaps it shows that actually they're real daggers and it ties in with the theme of the supernatural. I think when you're memorizing quotations, it really helps to choose quotations that are, quotations you can interpret in a number of different ways. Spirits that tend on mortal thoughts unsex me here. This is back to Act 1, Scene 5 with Lady Macbeth. And of course, what's happening here is Lady Macbeth, upon reading the letter from her husband, is asking the evil spirits to take away her femininity so she can be powerful and strong enough to do what she really feels she needs to do. Not only is Lady Macbeth defying gender roles here, the gender roles that would be the passive female, the quiet wife who supports her husband, but also defying the contextual attitudes to the supernatural. In Shakespeare's time, if you were caught guilty, or if you were caught being a witch, then you could be sentenced to death. That was the Witchcraft Act of 1563. So this is a very powerful moment for Lady Macbeth as she takes a huge risk calling on the evil spirits to help her. Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear. This is Act 3, Scene 2, Macbeth, and it just shows that the guilt is psychologically breaking Macbeth. He's having a mental breakdown as he's unable to cope with the guilt of what he's done. And the examples have often pointed out in the past that when students write about a play, they write about it in exactly the same way as they would write about a novel or a short story or a poem. And it's not the same, is it? And one of the things that makes it different is that it has stage directions, it has an audience, it is performed. And I think it's really useful to memorize stage directions that you can analyze because it helps you to make it clear to the examiner that you are analyzing this as a play, a work of drama, as opposed to a different form of writing. So the stage direction, A Cry of Women Within, is such a good stage direction, really for a number of reasons. One of the reasons that it's so interesting is that Lady Macbeth dies off stage. So this woman who has been very powerful at the beginning of the play actually isn't even afforded a death on stage. And of course, part of the reason for this is that Macbeth is the tragic hero of the title, and Shakespeare wants to kind of keep all the emotional outpouring for his death. He doesn't want us to get, dismayed at Lady Macbeth's death, but it also can be used to argue that she has no power at the end, hence she dies off stage. So foul and fair a day I have not seen is a very interesting quotation because it sounds like it's something the witches say, but it's actually Macbeth who says this in Act 1, Scene 3. His language is mirroring that of the witches from the preceding scenes, which perhaps shows that he's not so innocent, but is, like the witches, an evil character. And finally, of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, I like this quotation, the dead butcher and the fiend-like queen. So these are the quotations I would memorize. I hope you found this video useful. Please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.